Welcome to Sold with Webinars, a podcast that aims to uncover how the most successful experts, coaches, consultants, and e-course professionals sell their products and services with just one sales presentation or webinar. A simple sales webinar can transform the business and life of a solopreneur. And this podcast will show you how other experts just like you are generating 6 and 7 figures per year online with their webinars. So let's get started. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Joel Erway here with a very special episode of Sold with Webinars. And guys and gals, you are in for an amazing update today. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so I just finished up my content for you today, and I want to give you a quick preview as to what I talked about. In this episode, I go back from a couple episodes prior where I talked about this test that I was going to be launching, right? This test on this free 5-day funnel. And I was very skeptical of it at first. And I had mentioned in one of the previous episodes that I was going to be giving you all the stats on that. That's what I'm doing today. I'm filling you in on the stats and giving you my analysis of what worked, what didn't work, and the whole 9 yards. Anyway, this is a very special episode because there's a lot of lessons to be learned in this episode. I don't want to ruin it for you. It's only about 17 or 18 minutes long, but there's so much content here. Like, this will literally transform your business if you listen to this, take it to heart, and understand what I'm talking about. So without further ado, let's get started. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Joel here today, and I am here to give you a quick update on something that I had mentioned, fulfilling on my promise to you, loyal Sold with Webinars podcast listeners. A few episodes ago, I told you I was working on an experiment, a test. Right? As you know, the way that I operate and the way that I think about business and marketing and sales is probably a little different than most, right? In the world of digital marketing, people saying that, you need to lead with free, right? And while I don't 100% disagree with that, the way that I think about business and the way that I think about webinars and the way that I think about selling in general is not to necessarily start with, well, definitely not starting to lead with free, right? So many people want to work up their ascension sequence and leading with free and hoping that eventually, you give them enough free content and that lead or that prospect is eventually going to buy. The caveat with that is most of these people that I work with, all of my customers use paid traffic. And for the most part, when a new customer comes in, even though they might have an established business, they're launching a new offer and they're asking for my help in launching their new offer. And so this mentality of leading with free just has never really made any sense to me, right? It's like when I walk onto a dealership, right, I have the intent to buy something, right? All this, the cars will have, prices displayed on, their sticker prices displayed on the car, and there's salespeople walking around, but I'm walking around with the intent to buy. Now, I'm never getting mail from these people saying, hey, listen, let me give you this free buyer's guide, right, to your dream car. Let me give you this free report on the 7 things that you want to consider when you purchase your next car. No, what I'm getting is advertisements that are, over the course of, probably 2 or 3 years in between when I am considering making my purchase, right? Because I've got a car and I purchase a new car, I don't know, maybe every 3 or 4 years or something, right? So in my mind, right, I just need that level of awareness. And so I see the advertisements all the time in the mail and on TV, people promoting their dealership. And so when I'm ready to go buy a car, like that, they're top of mind. They're not giving me any free content. They're just top of mind, right? And so I take a different approach when I sell products and services. I always want to lead with an offer. And the test that I was doing a few weeks ago was to test the opposite of this. Like, I wanted to test leading with free. And so I worked with an awesome guy and we developed this really cool funnel, this really cool, free content funnel that we were planning on launching one of our new programs at the end of it. And so we spent a couple of months putting it all together, had some awesome content, and we put it all in a free 5-day challenge. And I want to share with you the results of what ended up happening. Now, full transparency, we had some technical hiccups with this, and I know that it probably could have been improved, but my assumption going into this was that it was going to, these were my assumptions, right? We were going to get probably really high engagement with the content because the content is solid. It's very, very good content. But ultimately, we were going to be enabling people and training them to want to follow me for free content. And it's not really aligned with my brand, which is totally fine. That's why I wanted to do this test. And so we did it. We launched it over the course of 5 days. And on day one, we just had a huge spike of engagement, right? We launched 3 or 4 pieces of content and we had a massive spike in engagement and, lots of people interacting, lots of people commenting, asking questions. And this started happening, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. And on day 3, we saw a substantial drop in the engagement. And by the time we got to day 5, the engagement was pretty much 0. Now, by the end of all of this, when we made the offer, we had, I asked people to book a call with me. And I also dripped out an offer for the Webinar Vault, the typical free trial, the 7-day free trial to the Webinar Vault. And I think by the end of this 5-day promotion, now this went out to my entire email list, this went out to my entire warm network, and the results were pretty astounding, to be honest. So we didn't get a single person to apply. So that was a 0 conversion. And we had, I think, 1 or 2 people sign up for the free trial. One of those free trials, their payment never went through, and the other one actually did convert into a sale. So we did collect $97 from that entire funnel. But as we promoted this out to over 65 or 7,000 people in my warm audience, we collected $97. So yes, we got the big boost in engagement, but it ultimately turned into nothing, right? Now, to give you a little bit of comparison, I launched an offer back in December to a very, 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 very small group of about 80 people, right? 80 people that were interested in coming to an event that I was hosting in Lewiston, and didn't give any content away for free. Led with, stories of inspiration and past results and testimonials. And of those 80 people, I converted $60,000 in sales, collected revenue, and also added some additional back-end sales at the end of that. So I'm just going to do some quick math real quick and give you quick ideas. So, right. So $60,000 divided by 12. So $5,000, or that's not what I wanted. $60,000 divided by 80. So that is $75 per lead, earnings per lead. So of those 80 people who I promoted this offer to, we generated $60,000. So an earnings per lead of $75. So essentially what that means is of those 80 people, I was earning $75 per lead. I essentially made more off of just the leads of those 80 people who were interested in that offer than I did of the entire 7,000 people that we promoted that free content funnel to. I want you to understand something, right? I want to hammer one thing into your mind right now, and it is understanding the effectiveness of your marketing funnels and your marketing messages, right? A couple of weeks ago, we launched a power offer for one of my private partner clients, and we ran very, very, very little traffic to it. I want to say it was like less than $100, which generated over $25,000 in sales for my client, right? Getting them to raise their hand, saying, yes, I'm interested in that, not giving them any free content, not promoting anything for free. And it resulted in $25,000 in sales. I have another client who is consistently generating customers for about $200 with this same method, and they're paying him $5,500, and it's costing them around $200 to $300 to acquire a $5,500 customer, right? And that's just their first payment. Their actual lifetime value is $25,000. So I want you to think about something, okay? When you lead with free, you attract people that naturally are not going to want to buy, right? When you lead with an offer, you are hyper qualifying people and you are getting people who are interested in what you have to do because everybody wants you to solve a pain for them. Okay? So if you want to pull your hair out and you want to get frustrated and you want to point the finger and say marketing doesn't work and you want to blame everybody about why their funnels don't work, keep going down the free pipeline. All right? The way that I look at business, the way that I look at marketing, the way I look at funnels is I want anyone who comes into my world, I want them to be focused on, I want them to know that I have an offer for them, right? I'm in business to, provide a lifestyle that I have set out for myself and provide for my family, right? I'm not necessarily at this point in my career interested in building a hyper large audience of freebie seekers. And I have another story to tell you. This is a perfect segue, right? Let me finish up this thought and then I'm going to go into another, a story that also elaborates on this, right? When you lead with your offer, you get them to you get your audience to give you permission to market to them. This applies to everything, especially with webinars and mini webinars, right? When you lead with an offer, you get people to know like, okay, cool. This guy is in business. That's totally fine. He's saying that he can solve a problem for me. That's even better. Let's listen to what he's got to offer. Okay. And when you do that, you give them permission to market them. So I always lead with the offer and then supplement with marketing, right? Content is still king, but you have to put it in the right order. And when you do it in reverse order, which is my way of reverse order, everything changes. When you get permission from your audience to market to them after you've already given them an offer, everything becomes like way more effective. I'm talking 10 to 100 times more effective, right? Because naturally, if you look at Chet Holmes and you follow his stuff, 3% of people are ready to buy. Now, the rest of the 97% is, they need a little bit more content. But everybody is going to raise their hand when you offer to solve something for them. That is your offer. And even though they may not be ready to buy now, and there's a lot more people that are ready to buy now than you think, that 3% number is very misleading because nobody can correlate that to the true market size. Now, if there's 100,000 people in your market, 3% is 3,000 people who are ready to buy now. Okay. So if you're in the service space and the expert space, that's a lot of people who are looking to buy now. That's why we can capitalize on so many success stories when you follow this methodology. Okay. I just flew back from a quick trip out to LA. I was helping one of my colleagues with his webinar. He flew me out to his office and we mapped out an entire strategy for him, mapped out his offers and his fulfillment. And there's no doubt in my mind that he's already been selling this program. I've been helping him virtually for a while and he's already made a few sales. But now we're taking it to the next level and there's no doubt in my mind he will do 8 figures. He has the audience, he has the budget, and he has an unbelievable offer, right? And so we were talking over lunch as we were walking through LA and we were sipping on boba tea. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of boba. This is the first time that I've heard of it. It was delicious, by the way. And he was talking about this idea of how some people are afraid to make offers. And I'm talking big people. Like if I mention them right now, you would know exactly who they are. Like they're big influencers in our space. Like there are 2 types of people in this world. There are the brand builders, the brand awareness marketers, and like they're really great at generating very, very large audiences. And then there's the direct response marketers who want to measure their data and they understand that they have to monetize and make offers and measure those results. And if you fall on the first side of that fence, which is the brand awareness and like building a really, really large audience, that's totally cool. Like there's ways to monetize that aren't even directly correlated with making offers to that audience. Like you have to understand the mindsets of those 2 different types of people, right? And we were talking about a couple of big name influencers. Everybody has heard of them. Big name influencers who have massive audiences, but they are terrified to make offers to their audience. Like if they would hand that list over to me, if they would hand that audience over to me, it would be a 7 to 8 figure windfall, almost guaranteed. Like that's how big their audiences are. But they're scared to make these types of offers. They're scared to enter this world of direct marketing, direct response marketing. And I was talking to a prospect a few months ago who had an email list of like 30,000 people and was making no money from them. And it was very clear that they were just scared to make, he told me too, he was very nervous to make an offer. And it's like, listen, like these people have to make a decision. If you're just starting out and you have this ability to generate a large audience, you have to make a decision. Like, what do you want to do? Make friends or make money? And I don't say that in a slimy term. I don't say that in a sleazy way, but the vast majority of us are just launching our businesses. Now, these other people that I mentioned, they are very established. They make plenty of money and they've got audiences. And like I said, there's other ways that they can monetize, but like they're very, very, very well established. But for the vast majority of us, as we're just building our businesses, and like if your focus is on building that audience first with no way to monetize them right away, you're in for an uphill battle. And like, yes, you can be successful with it, and I wish you all the best of luck, but revenue is what keeps your business pumping, and figuring out a way as we're working on this, and we're like, this whole theory of what I'm talking about right now is what we are calling the perfect expert. And it's being able to leverage your ability to make offers to your audience and then build the audience after they have heard at least one of your offers. Because when you do that, that audience becomes like probably 5 to 10 times more valuable versus just pumping out free content, getting followers, getting list subscribers, and then eventually making an offer down the road. There's an art and a science to this. And this is what I've been focusing on probably for the last year and a half, is developing this perfect model. Okay. So I want you to take what I did, take this case study that I did, and understand that I did this for you, right? It costs us a lot of money to do this and run this test, but I wanted to because I wanted to show the importance of training your audience to take action on offers that you make, okay? This applies to webinars. This applies to mini webinars. This applies to all areas of your marketing, right? If you're out there trying to get new customers, if you're out there trying to get new clients, you have to understand that offers comes first before your brand, right? If you want to work on your brand first, that's fine, right? But you're just in for a long uphill battle road. There are so many people out there who are willing to buy your services right now, even if you have no previous testimonials, even if nobody's heard of you before, right? I mean, we are creating a laundry list of testimonials right now from experts who are launching these offers and launching these messages and getting clients same day, the next day, like within 24, 48, 72 hours. And all you have to know is learning how to create powerful offers, and then supplement them after they've given you permission to market to them. Guys, this is powerful stuff. I'm very excited about what we're working on. This is what we are doing this is the core foundation of what we're talking about with the perfect expert. And we're going to be talking about that a little bit more in the next couple of weeks as we launch our new company, Experts Unleashed. But this is all about the perfect expert and building a simple way for you to generate clients and then build your brand on the back end of that, because that is super, super powerful. And man, I cannot wait until this is officially launched, because we are changing lives. I've been doing it, one-on-one for a long time now, but this is going to be like the biggest thing that hits our industry in a very long time. So hopefully you guys can see my excitement as it's coming across, and I'm trying to drop these stories and show to you like what this really means in terms of impact and influence for your business. This applies to coaches, consultants, course creators, experts, service providers, like anyone who's selling information and services as their business. Like, this is what the perfect expert is all about. So without making this episode too long, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. So do me a favor. If you guys got value from this, if you understood what I'm talking about here, just drop me a message over at joel@thewebinaragency.com. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this episode. Just share it with me, right? Let's start up a conversation. Let's start up some dialogue. I would love to learn more and hear from my loyal audience, my loyal listeners. All right, so let's end today's episode, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to go rate the podcast if you love this. Drop me some feedback on iTunes, and let's blow this podcast up. Take care, everybody. Talk soon. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to giving you the next one. You can also follow and watch the behind-the-scenes look at how I'm personally launching a brand new 6- and 7-figure product from scratch at soldwithwebinars.com/TV. And if you'd like to come hang out with other fellow experts, join our Facebook group at soldwithwebinars.com/experts. Join us next time, and I'll see you there.